I'm Arien Hielkema, and without further ado, let's start from the very beginning, because I hear that's a very good place to start. When you read, you begin with ABC, and when you present a still life presentation, you begin with concept revision and proposals. I decided to go with a musical composition, deciding against that after realizing it was a bit boring and it was sort of done to death, really. So I found a box of toys and a metal bird that I developed a story between to really create a sort of a juxtaposition and really help sell the idea that this little bird is doing something and that it would normally do in real life, but is a bit of a spin on it. Developing this idea with the bird in the nest with the Easter eggs, I came to the decision to create a sort of funny sort of little composition that leaves the viewer thinking about it and really leaves them thinking about a story afterwards, and it can be personalised to what they want it to be. One of the stories that I sort of thought about when I put this composition together was when I was little, I used to try and catch birds, and I'd put down a box with a like a twig and a bit of string, and I'd hide behind this huge bush, which I'm sure was just like a blade of grass or something. The bird was obviously much cleverer than me, and it would always eat the bread, but always eat the bread on the outside and never venture in. So that's the sort of feeling that I'd wanted to get with these shotgun shots. So the research here, I've got a couple of images that I really liked and really drew inspiration from, some of the lighting and depth of field and reflections. I created the basic composition that I thought could work. Swapping out the table, this table here, I decided to swap it out because it was a bit too orange and really didn't pop the subject matter like I wanted. So I swapped it with a darker brown table, and that really helped bring out and pop the subject of the bird and the shells. And the shots were made to sort of break up the composition a bit. So here's some photos of the light setup. We've got a directional spotlight here casting all the shadows, and then a softbox here which isn't pointing to the actual subject, just to pull up the darks a little bit. This is the final photo that I came up with. A fun little accident, one of those happy accidents that you come across in this industry. With the reflections here, the blurry reflections, which I actually didn't think existed until the other day when I took this photo. It's actually due to the camera angle, the lighting angle, and then the minute details in the wood or the gloss. You most see this sort of reflection on water when you're driving maybe by the harbour bridge or something with the city lights coming towards you. It's sort of like a blurry sort of displaced reflection. And simple geometry with the bird and the shotgun shell. And as you can see here within ZBrush, using a plugin called ZAppLink, pretty self-explanatory. The document size within Photoshop depends on the quality of the image that you project onto the model, and obviously the higher texture one. So I used that technique. Deciding to cut the shotgun shell down the middle, I had a couple of goes at this. First of all, I cut it right down both sides, but found that really was quite hard to put together in texture, so cutting it down the middle and sort of changing the colours. This scan was scanned at 900 dpi, and you could actually see the little rust marks from where the blade cut. That's how high res it was. The puppet shader that we use, which is much like the MIA shader, except we can render out OpenEXRs with it. The reflections were set to 1 for the Fresnel effect. It's actually pronounced Fresnel, not Fresnel, as I originally thought. S is silent. So, but the basic Fresnel effect is due to the facing ratio, or the angle that you're looking at something like a pool. When you look at it sort of side on, you can see reflections of the sky, but when looking straight down, you can see straight through the water. So as I saw, it was easier to turn it to 0 and work my way up. And here's the blurry reflection that I managed to achieve. Originally I was going to do it in post, but decided against that after some careful research, finding an actual plug-in shader that Mental Ray comes shipping with. This is value pass for the lighting. It was very easy for me to achieve the lighting within Maya because of the fact that the lights were already there from the setup in the photo studio. So just to remind you guys, this is the final photo that I achieved within the photo studio. And due to the magic of television and some comping with a nuke, here is the final render.